Akainu and Aokiji, or Kuzan, are guaranteed King's Haki users and guaranteed Conqueror's Haki coating users. So Advanced Conqueror's Haki. I feel like a lot of people are going to find what I just said completely outrageous. Like how could the Admirals ever have Conqueror's Haki? They work for the world government. I just don't think you're reading the correct story. One is the literal king of the Navy, Akainu, Fleet Admiral. Sengoku had Conqueror's Haki before him. Even Garp had Conqueror's Haki. The other fought him, Akainu, for 10 days, non-stop, almost to the death, and you don't think that person has Conqueror's Haki? Kuzan, who fought Akainu for the same position of king? It's baffling. Like, go reread the story, come back, and then we can all agree. Because I just feel there's so much dissonance between people and what Conquerors actually is. Anyone that has kingly ambition is a Conqueror's Haki user, most likely. Anyone that strives for the top of some kind of field in One Piece is a Conqueror's Haki user. This is why Zoro got it, because he's going to be the king of swordsmen, the world's strongest swordsman. This is why Mihawk has Conqueror's Haki. This is also why Shanks has Conqueror's Haki. A lot of people seem to think like these endgame characters won't have these OP levels of Haki. They think Kaido was the end-all be-all. He was not. That's why he was the finishing act of the second third of the story. He wasn't the final villain, nowhere near it. By the end of the series, Kaido's barely going to make top 10. And that's crazy, given the statements. But all those statements are implied. Most of the statements even come from, like, you can see where Killer is on the rooftop and he says Kaido is supposed to be the strongest pirate. At least that's what they say. That's like paraphrasing what he says. But a lot of what this whole world's strongest creature or title was, it was fake. It was just hearsay from other pirates. Endgame characters like Akainu and Aokiji or Kuzan, these guys will have Advanced Conqueror's Haki, no doubt in my mind. They will have Awakened Logias, some busted ass Awakened abilities, like Kuzan could freeze time for all we know. That's what it could be. You don't know this. But they also have Future Sight, which was confirmed in Marineford for both of them. So, like, the fact that people think these guys aren't that strong is crazy. Like, Akainu and Kuzan are probably like top 6. Akainu top 4, Kuzan 6. And I think even Blackbeard right now would really struggle against Kuzan. And we saw in the latest One Piece episode, I think it's 1093, where Kuzan just one-shots Cracker. It's not even close. Like, one ability completely destroys him. And you could say, oh, it's freezing. People don't, like, Old Man Whitebeard didn't get frozen to the core. Gear 4 Luffy would have literally died against Kuzan. This is where the power creep and the power scaling kind of comes into effect. And then the guy that beat Kuzan is supposed to be weak. Akainu is the strongest marine to ever exist. He's stronger than Garp in his prime. He's stronger than Sengoku in his prime. This is stated. Like, everyone dog walks Akainu for Marineford, but they don't even actually realize what happened at Marineford. Akainu got a bloody nose and maybe a cracked rib versus killing a buccaneer, putting 3 holes in Whitebeard, blowing up his insides, blowing half his face off, and fighting the whole Whitebeard pirate crew by himself. Absorbing sneak attacks like they do nothing to him. Someone of Marco's level couldn't even hurt him. And you guys think this guy is weak He is being portrayed to endgame level, and that's what he is. He will be an advanced Conquerors haki user, guaranteed. Future sight and some level of advanced future sight for sure. Some level of advanced armament haki as well. And on top of that, awakened Logia. Uber broken. And people still like to downplay the narrative portrayal of these characters. And then you have Kuzan, who fought him for 10 days, and, you know, he's relative to Akainu. That's what it is. Stop crying about it. Why are we crying about these things? Is it because your favorite character got left in the dirt? So what? Move on. There's another 50 characters that could be your favorite character. Stop letting your emotions cloud what you read. This is like the whole agenda piece thing again. You know, I don't want to go back to Zoro and Sanji, but it's just the whole agenda piece thing. And I get some people do it for fun, and it is comedic, but it's also those people that get really butthurt. They're not doing it for fun. Like, they genuinely believe the idiocies that come out of their mouths. You also have to remember that Akainu has stated himself that this is the strongest era to ever be Fleet Admiral in. So he's stated that this era has surpassed the previous era. Now, I don't know how he would know that, but that's what he stated. That's what Oda has written for him to say. Which, you know, fills my narrative for the newer generation being stronger than Roger's generation. So I've got Akainu, Mihawk, Shanks, Dragon, all above Roger. Like, these guys are the top tiers of our current generation. And everyone's saying, reverting back to Kaido, well, Kaido never fought these guys. We don't even know if Kaido fought Shanks. For all we know, when Shanks and Kaido clashed, it could have been Shanks just telling Kaido, oh, there's a Joy Boy coming, just go back to Onigashima, chill for a couple of years, and you'll see Joy Boy. Ever think about that? Most people haven't. And I know a lot of the power scaling stems from the anime and how it's showcased. But a lot of people need to understand the anime is super slow paced, number one. Number two, the anime adds filler. And yes, they have the rights to do these things, like the creative rights, but it's still a little bit of filler. And you can use it for confirmation, but it's also, it becomes hard to understand what is going on when you have the anime in the recent episode using King's haki with the Guruguru no Mi with Blackbeard, and then Law using King's haki, the same color, normal haki, to revert from being a girl back to a man. Like, it becomes very, very confusing for a lot of people. And that's why it's always important to stick with the source material as your base assumptions. And in the source material, the manga, you know, Akainu is showcased very, very nicely in Marineford. It is nothing like the anime. This guy looks like a Giga Chad monster. And so does Kuzan. Kuzan in the manga, even in the anime, he looks pretty good. But like in the manga, he's a Giga Chad. This guy could fight Garp while holding back. Didn't have to try too hard against Garp while holding back to capture Garp. So for people that don't understand this, capturing someone is a lot harder than killing someone. And why that is because you can't go all out when you capture someone, because if you're that much stronger, they may die. Does that click? Like, for some people, that Kuzan is that much stronger than Garp at this current point. Like, Garp's past his prime, obviously, but at this current point, he was so much stronger than Garp that he had to hold back to make sure Garp doesn't die because he doesn't want to kill his teacher. Instead, he captures him for the trust of the Blackbeard pirates. And then they'll get his memories with pudding, with like pudding's fruit, etc. And then you get the God Valley incident, and a whole new narrative of, you know, a whole new wave of narrative comes your way. I just wanted to touch on a few things with Akainu and Aokiji slash Kuzan. Just because I I deleted X or Twitter this week because I just got tired of the agenda piece. Like I'll be back in a couple of weeks probably, but holy God, when the One Piece chapters are slow, these guys are out in droves, and it really gets stale, and I feel like it doesn't affect my want to read the manga, but it just like affects my want to be a part of the One Piece community as a whole. Because like the agenda piece and the toxicity of the agenda piece is crazy. And it's not just One Piece. Like JJK has this. We saw this last week with Yuta's domain expansion. Wild. But yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you have a good one. Peace.